you just go to facebook.com/Rallysport. Does that work? You have to log in.
I'm logging in right now. Yep, got it. Ustream. It's on your page and Dirty Rally Sport.
Right now?
Yep.
What the fuck is it? OL2S or OL1S? Hello, one viewer. We are streaming live from Sandblast. We are on stage 1. This is Hunter's Pond, and immediately behind us, we'll give you a little pan view, is Lee Pond in all its glory. We're near the end of the stage, and we are about to get ready going. The safety cars have already gone through, and we are pretty much clear to go. We are running all of the bikes first. We have a unique vehicle. Actually, I hear the first bike now. Hopefully you folks can hear the great sound of the motorcycles in the woods. We run the motorcycles on 30-second intervals because we have so many of them this year, so it makes for some awesome racing out in the woods. So those of you watching, please share the link. Sorry I couldn't actually have this on the official NASA channel. I didn't have the login information, so we're kind of going at it this way, so it's kind of backwards. That was Sarah Roth, if I'm not mistaken. About 40 degrees out here today, so it's a little chilly. Thankfully I brought a stocking cap, kind of atypical. I wish I had 2 cameras, because then you could see what's going on behind me as they race around the lake. But this is still pretty good. I'm curious if I could get some feedback from the viewers on how good the audio quality is. I'm actually on a Bluetooth headset that I hope is working properly. This is about the 4th year that we've run the Rally Motor cycles, and it's gotten to be a huge participation. At this point, about 15 of the competitors here this weekend are brand new for Rally Moto, and about 15 for the cars. It's a pretty good turnout for an event that's only had bikes for a few years. Oh! One behind the other. Looking pretty good. Your camera's dead already?
It's already half-life already.
What?
Yeah.
Probably needs new battery pack.
I'm gonna buy a bunch for it anyway. It's a cell phone style batteries, but after I put it in the car, I think it was actually my charger that did it.
So those of you watching from home, please spread the news that this is the official Sandblast live stream. Please send emails, please send Facebook posts, please spread it everywhere. I will be doing live streams from multiple stages throughout the day. Our setup here is kind of a famous corner. This is just coming off of what we call the Go Trail, about a half-mile down the road after a long downhill section of 4s and 5s. So they built up quite a bit of speed when they were around this corner. Last count, we had approximately half of the competitors were bikes and half were cars. For the entire event, we have 30 new competitors. This is their first time event ever. Pretty good turnout. Now, as many of you know, I was supposed to be racing this event. My engine kind of had terminal failure a few days ago, so I'm out here helping provide some color commentary for you. And if you type any comments on the right side, they should show up on my phone. Apologize for the quality. I am standing in the woods, so it's not the best video quality. But if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please post them up here, and I can try to answer any feedback that you have. The event is running on time, which is great. Weather's a little bit chilly. This morning on the way over here, it appeared that we actually had some potential snow from the splatter on the windscreen. It looked kind of deceiving. Certainly cold enough. Might even be a little cooler than just earlier. Maybe mid-30s. Not the warmest place in the world right now, but better than being in Maine. Here, another motorcycle coming. Now, for those of you who don't know much about Rally Moto, overall requires you to cars. I'll be in a smaller pack, smaller setup. You still have to carry a first aid kit, some safety triangles and whatnot. Still have to carry the OK sign. Not a lot of space to carry that stuff, but they seem to make do just fine. We're gonna have two bikes in close succession here again. Here's someone closing. Oh. Pretty good. So if someone could actually type something in the window, the chat window, that'd be helpful. I just need to make sure that this is all working properly. I can see the viewer count alone, but no text. I've got this little text bubble, and if someone could just type some gobbledygook in there, that'd be helpful to know what's going on, if this is actually working.
Is there gonna be a record of this too, of the stream, or cool?
Things are quieting down. I think we have a few more motorcycles, but I'm not quite sure. I haven't been keeping track.
We've had about 15 so far.
We should have somewhere around 30 to 40 motorcycles. And, you know, we've been recording for 12 minutes, so we're a few short. So hopefully nothing's happened on stage or nothing got held up. So the other stage teams are getting set up, appearing on the radio. Oh, I hear some more motorcycles coming up over the hill. Oh, he's got a mohawk. Giant pink mohawk. So I've started a poll. Are you a rally purist? Do you prefer to just have just cars involved in rally? Or are you okay with other types of vehicles? Because we actually have a special treat this event that might surprise a bunch of folks out there. So are you a... Please answer yes if you are a rally purist and think that cars are the way to go. Or answer no if you kind of think that other vehicles should be included. Oh, I hear two more motorcycles coming. You can see that the sand's starting to get torn up pretty good. Oh, 3 motorcycles. I was having dinner with some of those folks the other night, and they are totally pumped up about coming out here. They're coming to Sandblast. For them is some of the most unique experiences that they can get, especially when we do 30-second intervals, and for long stages. It actually is something that they don't even really have in hare scrambles. I hear 2 more motorcycles coming. Clearly the smaller, lighter KTMs have an advantage here over the big, heavy BMW type Dakar bikes. It's really tough to handle the heavier bikes in the sand as that things get torn up. If you're at the front of the pack, it's much better. Conditions in South Carolina have been kind of wet for the last week or so. We've had about 8 inches of rain, which has really allowed the sand to pack up. At Shakedown yesterday, I was standing next to the road, about 10 feet off the road, and when the cars went by, you could feel them rumbling through the ground, which is pretty amazing considering it's all sand here. So everything is still really densely packed. And the challenge is that for the 2-wheel drive cars later today, as everything gets torn up, you have wet, heavy sand that's also got a mix of clay underneath. So it gets really interesting and really tough to get enough power to push through. It'll be especially interesting on the sand trap stage, where all the cars have to drive up. To them, it's a large hill, but this is South Carolina after all, and that hill will get totally chewed up, and it'll be very, very challenging, especially if it's wet sand. One more motorcycle coming. Sounds like a larger displacement bike. Right in the outside berm. Trying to find a line that's not been chewed up yet. Eric Burmeister came here a few years back. Everyone knows Lurch. And Lurch was here and found that it was sometimes easier to drive on the side of the road, not on the road, but on the side of the road through some particularly nasty sections, and that allowed him to just make up a little bit more speed. The side of the road being the forest, but here in the Pine Barrens, you can actually see quite a far distance on the straightaways because this is a managed forest and everything gets cut down every few years. See if I can listen to the radio here and figure out what's going on.
Barely, that's gonna be tough work.
Two more bikes. Side by side action. All the bikes here have to be street legal, as they, like everyone else, have to drive on the roads, which involves adding a lot of lights, turn signals. We've had most of the bikes go through. I think we might have a handful left. I'm hearing that Campbell Lake has been getting set up just fine. No major issues there to report so far, so everyone should be going there on time. After the bikes finish up, we will have a combo car, which will just basically act as a fast medical sweep to make sure that all the bikes made it through safely. And as soon as the combo car completes the stage, the cars will be released.
Alright, combo car, you got double 260, go ahead.
I'm hearing that they're getting ready to release the combo car on stage, so the last bikes are probably already rolling. Usually the combo car chases the bike after about 30 to 40 second interval to give them enough space. And just to confirm, it is actually starting to snow here. I've just seen a few flakes. Snow is a big deal for the state of South Carolina, as we have palm trees. And having lived in Maine for many years, I'm used to snow, but my blood has gotten very thin, and I despise snow. After we finish up with the cars in the stage, we're going to pack up and hike out. And then we are going to go over to the Sand Trap Hairpin spectator point, which is always a great spot for those of you who haven't been down here. It has a great hairpin I have a feeling that this year, based off the conditions, we can expect a lot more muddy mess there. It's got a great sweeper. Cars get sideways, the bikes get sideways, crowd goes wild. So I think it's going to be a great spot to head over there. After that, we're going to be playing it by ear and figuring out where we're going to go after that.
Okay, thank you. I copy 147 at sequence number 34, and then 136, 141 in combo.
So where's everyone from that's following along? Just curious. I don't know if this text thing is working properly. Someone could type something into the text box on the right hand side and send us a little text message. That'd be super. Just trying to make sure that the feedback loop is working properly. In case you have any questions, I can answer.
Thank you, finish. I copy 137, 105, 142, 128, 127, and 123.
So my video rig for the weekend, for those of you who might be at all interested in this, so we've hiked in a deep cycle marine battery with a cigarette lighter adapter clamped onto it, and a USB extension cable, high charging phone charger, just plugged into my cell phone. So hopefully this is sufficient quality for you folks out there. Figure it's better than nothing, and wish you could be here with us. Here, one more bike coming.
Finish 100 on. I copy 105.
Deep sand is definitely a challenge for the heavier bikes. One of the bikes just out of frame almost fell over, almost went into a tank slapper. So a very unique event for the bike folks who are not used to the deep wet sand. And we hoped the weather was going to be nicer this year by moving the event back 1 month. I was at least counting on it. And this year it seems to be even colder than last year. Last year was about, 55, 60 degrees. I think it hit 70 one day. And today I think it's about 30, 35 degrees maybe. Blah, blah, blah. Yes, blah, blah, blah indeed. Thank you for testing out the chat. It's good to know that it works. Now, maximum attack. Is that Burmeister? I don't know. Bike should be finishing up. Sounds like we're about to send a combo car, maybe? Going through the final bike sequence to make sure everything's working out fine. I'm not hearing any bikes off in the woods yet. That may have been our last 2 bikes. One of the unique conditions this week is that on the way over here this morning we found that the area around Campbell Lake had a controlled burn last night, and there were still visible flames in the woods. So we now have the additional element of smoke. There was significant smoke in the air, very dense, certainly very smelly. So I think some of the riders will have a very unique experience riding through an area that looks like Apocalypse Now. That will certainly add an interesting element to the event. So I think we have around 40 to 45 cars this weekend. Everything from Mitsubishis down to the Ford Focuses. One of the Focuses here has some interesting modifications. It's apparently running a formal road racing engine, really high compression, so it runs race gas. Not something you would expect to see out of a Focus normally. I hear 2 more motorcycles coming.
Net control, this is 00. Are you looking for us? Italy, let me know where you at on the stage.
This is a heavy bike coming.
We are at approximately mile 10. We caught 000 and have since they've gotten ahead of us. But we're close together at mile 10.
Clearly the way to make it through it is power through and not dance. Those who use the throttle seem to be having a faster, easier time and not getting sucked into the chewed up ruts. 30 cars plus the side-by-side. Yes. The side-by-side is what I was alluding to earlier. We have a true side-by-side kind of quad vehicle racing this weekend. That will be a great interest to see. It's running as an exhibition. Ooh, pom-pom. Oh. We've had a bike go down here. Thankfully he's back on his feet. Looks perfectly okay.
I have bikes 103, 145, 151.
And we're good. Back and safely going.
Oh man, there people saw that.
So this looks really challenging for the motorcycle guys this weekend. They're going to be very, very tired by the time the night's over. Especially for the stages that we reuse. Things are going to get chewed up pretty good for the cars, certainly. I expect that the road in front of us, which was heavily packed when we walked down, is going to be even really bad for us to hike back up the hill.
Not since I've been here. Actually, there was one here when I got here. We're just arriving, so I'm not sure.
It sounds like we're still trying to count the bikes, make sure everyone's finished properly.
Alright, well, that's all good. Net control, 00. 0, go ahead. Adam out, mile 12.
So for those of you who have just joined us, we have an active poll going. And those of you who haven't voted, you can vote. Do you feel that rally cars is the only way that rally should be held? Or do you think that it's okay to have motorcycles and supports the motorsport? Yes being that you think rally cars are where it's at, and no being you think that motorcycles, side-by-sides, and other things are also rally vehicles.
This is 00. We copy that. We're at about 12.2 now. We'll keep an eye out.
Feels like the temperature's dropping another few degrees. Certainly not getting any warmer.
Net control, KJ4HJY.
Doesn't look like the sun's going to come out at all today either, which is kind of unfortunate. Things are quieting down. we'll have a little bit of lull. I don't have the start order in front of me right now. I know it changed last minute last night or early this morning, so I don't have a complete count. But things have been progressing nicely. We're about 30 minutes into running the stage, at least the first competition vehicles. So things are going pretty much the plan right now.
Stand trap finish. This is net control. We're just checking in. I think you're ready to go. I was just letting you know we were here and ready to go. Hopefully, you know, get you where you want there. Thank you very much. Trip finish. Great to meet you. Accurate.
Thank you for sending me the links. Unfortunately, I can't click on them and stream them from my phone at the same time. The minute I tab off, my stream will die. Cars are queuing up at the start. I'm going to turn on the radio. As soon as the course is clear from all the bikes, we'll be getting going with the cars. There are a few notable competitors in the car field that are coming back to compete. Jason Smith and Jared Lampsey being one of them. They haven't been in a car together for about the last 18 months. And they are driving a new to them car. They recently sold the lovable, well-loved Subaru Impreza. Oh, here comes another motorcycle. Sounds like they may have had an issue earlier on stage. Oh, thank you for posting the start order. It's appreciated. As I was saying, of note, Jason and Jared are driving their new to them GC chassis Subaru Impreza, formerly owned by Matt Iorio and Cowboy Kenny, as a former X Games car. They're getting used to it once again. Press on! Another super dicey area. Pressing on. Bike guys certainly have a spirit here. Jason and Jared first drove their car together in full anger yesterday at Shakedown. Initial reports says the car feels good, but the turbo seemed to be blowing a little oil from what we saw in the Transit. Pete Hasher and Greg Dorman are having a really good time in their car. Matt Smith just driving by in the combo car. A lot of Subarus racing this weekend.
Volkswagen Bug.
Was it Volkswagen Bug this weekend?
I don't know if it had tags on it or not, but I saw it earlier. It had rally tires on it.
We've had what appears to be, at first glance, an abnormally large number of withdrawals. I know that we've had a few engine meltdowns before the events. We've had a few people that are really sick. But a large number of withdrawals for a really large event actually seems like it might be in line. As of a few weeks ago, we had well over 90 competitors entered, which is without a doubt the largest that Sandblast has ever been. I think we ended up with somewhere around 80 starters. As soon as combo car finishes the stage, we'll be releasing the cars.
About 2 miles to the end of stage 1. Okay, any issues to report thus far?
combo car's about 2 miles
I
from
did
the
not get a
stage.
bunny number. That bike is still on course, racing.
Should be ready to rock and roll with the cars real soon.
No problem. As long as they're on course, we're good. KK4 GM.
Other competitors of note that are here this weekend. The Noble Star Rally team has driven down from Michigan. They might be our furthest competitor to come out this weekend. Fresh off of finishing Snowdrift a few weeks ago. They're out here testing the sand for the first time. And initial reports are that from Shakedown they had a really great time. The competitors are driving on a mix of either gravel tires or snow tires. The sand being a really interesting combination that allows either tire to work really well. And you really don't have too many objects that you have to worry about popping a snow tire. Even when sliding sideways, there isn't anything firm enough. You can see here from the camera that, like a snow rally, we have pretty big berms on the side of the road. Excuse me while I put my foot up here and not freeze to death. Imagine we should be seeing the cars in about 5 minutes from now. Alrighty, word from Combo is that we're clear to start the cars. So around 4 to 5 minutes, you should see the cars down here. The stage typically takes, if I recall, 7 to 8 minutes. For some of the top folks, I don't have past scores in front of me right now. Any particular questions from the viewers that I can answer during this downtime? Feel free to post something up. Is that right? We have a split timer casually laid on the ground here to help us figure out splits. If you guys would like to also help follow along. Did they announce when they're going to send the first car? Not yet.
That's why I want to see if it lines up.
Campbell Spectator, I copy you loud and clear. What mile are you at, just out of curiosity? I have no idea.
Trains are running.
I got you on the map. I was just checking.
The thing died. So I'll pan around for those of you who are kind of following along for the first time here. If you've been to Sandblast before, this is the famous corner just above Lee Pond on Hunter's Pond. So you come down this is the road just coming down off the hill where the goat trail is, and you end up on this downhill sweeper, and it loops around the pond. So we get some good, at least behind us, visuals of the cars going around and up on behind the trees and out towards the finish.
So we can see it from there.
If my phone lasts and the cell phone signal permits, we might try to go hit Campbell, or rather CJ's loop tonight. There's a particularly great long straightaway, for those of you who've been here before, near the end of the stage that allows for some great visuals of the driving lights as they whip around a quick succession of hairpin left and a hairpin right as they go up towards the finish. That's the exact spot last year where I split a radiator hose. I had to get flat towed by Andrew Frick all the way back to the finish in Shiraw.
Lost him at the last minute.
Sorry?
We just took him at 47. Started.
First car on stage at 9:47. So that's 40 seconds ago, so we can keep track of how long it takes for them to get here. Just curious of the folks that are who are watching along, how many of you been down here to Sandblast before? And what kind of vehicle were you in? Were you in a bike? Were you in a car? What year were you down here? Reports on stage from the setup crew is that there's a giant mud hole about 1.5 miles from our location, further up the road, so we should see the cars coming through with a nice coating of mud on them. Bike guys obviously don't have that problem because they can just ride through the woods. I hear a car far off. I don't know if you folks are able to hear the ham radio, but it sounds like the next stage is set up properly and the bikes will be starting on that on time. About this moment in time, I'm wishing that we were next to that active burn to stay just a little bit warmer. It's pretty darn cold. From watching the shakedown yesterday, Pete Hasher was looking the quickest of all the competitors. We should see what he looks like here in about 30 seconds. You can hear him just over the hill. I'm just going to step back a little bit. Hopefully my Bluetooth headset still works. Certainly is pushing pretty good. Pete has been plagued with gearbox problems for the last season or two, and just recently upgraded his car to a 6-speed. He'd been nursing a 15-year-old dog box, and finally gave up the ghost. So he traded him for a bone stock 6-speed STI transmission, and that seems to be doing really well for him. This should be Greg and Aaron in a WRX. Car seems to be looking and sounding pretty well. Jason sounds like he's making up a bunch of time. Here he comes. Almost made up a full minute. I can hear both Aaron and Jason about 1 corner away from each other. Behind me, watching for them up the hill. That's really close. I think Jason may have made up a full minute. So next should be Colin and Larry. I think Colin recently converted his 2-wheel drive Subaru back to a 4-wheel drive Subaru. You can still hear Jason's brakes in the woods, squealing away.
Got it.
Sounds like Jason may have just caught him right at the finish. It's a full minute up. Flashers. Can't immediately tell what's wrong. Tough to tell. I'm not hearing any sort of wastegate on the turbo, so maybe there's a problem with the turbo. Yeah, absolutely, Jason and Jared are looking good. They are pushing aggressively. As I said earlier, that the new car for them is one of Matt Iorio's old cars that he built in the early 2000s and sold to Cowboy Kenny, which was the last, I believe, used at the X Games. I believe this is Matt and Austin. I hear two cars, so I expect another close. Sounds like they might be 30 seconds apart. So the echoes in the woods of the exhaust sound great. Hear another car coming. Just cresting up over the hill, starting to down. Holland Groff and Allison Hirsch. Not quite sure if that's a new Audi or it's just a fresh paint job. This car used to be red last year. A little backfire from the Audi. Are you folks hearing me okay, or only when I'm standing right next to the phone? I've got a Bluetooth headset. Hopefully it actually has pretty decent quality. Hear another car coming. Tom Barton. Sorry, Brian Barton driving. That's an old TAD Evo. Quite the upgrade from their old Mazda. Another car close behind. Joker Felix recently replaced his transmission with a 6-speed transmission. Talking to him last night at Expose, he was thrilled with the change. Can keep it at the boost all the time now. Another car starting to come up the hill. Oh, good. I'm glad you can hear. If you folks also open up another tab in your web browser and check out Sandblast Rally, I believe we have all the live updates, including the line graphs, which really show how much time people make up throughout the day to give you an idea of how close the race is. Please check that out, sandblastrally.com.
I'm wondering, have we heard from number 3 how Section Spawn is doing and how comms are and medical down there?
Another car coming.
Comms is sketch test, for the meters, so I'll be working just this way. Because, I've got to adjust my time so that it's that.
Two-wheel drive Lancer. Brad Morris, Doug Nagy.
In place, is that getting ready?
Those guys can certainly pedal that Lancer at a pretty good clip.
Okay, if they don't see fine resources for them, need to report back to me. KI4IWS. Mark, is the clear these eyes? The top 6 20 links in, camel link start, take control. Take control and talking to Texans for a minute.
Another car coming. Stealth car. Quiet exhaust. Kevin Turner, Matt Rhodes. Appeared last night at Park Expose. They were having some issues. They had the car up on all jack stands and checking everything over. Another car. Sebastian. Oh. Sebastian's driving Rally Solo without a co-driver. It's extremely challenging at Sandblast as it's easy to stuff the car. And I think our presence here confused him.
Okay, thank you very much. I copy 30.
Just the right people to stuff it in front of, too.
Sebastian is kindly sporting my livery this weekend, sporting the Rallysport, as my car couldn't be present for engine reasons. I hear an angry Focus coming, it sounds like.
Ooh, we got 2.
Bees. Yeah, the 2 Focuses are one behind the other, it sounds like. This ought to be good.
Could be one of those Hondas, though, too.
There is an Acura.
An Acura and a Honda, too, I think, right?
We do have an angry Hornet's Nest coming. I wonder if you guys can hear this. I'm going to step back a little bit. Oh, it's so loud. Little known fact about Paul. His right leg is 2 inches longer than his left leg, which allows him to have a really good foot on the accelerator. I think we need to have that car check the tech. I think it might be a little too loud. I still hear the car.
It sounds like an RC car, but it really
It sounds like a methanol RC car. It absolutely does.
Well, if we didn't know where the road went before, you can almost imagine like a little thing pop up above him.
The car is so ridiculously loud. Hear another car coming. No bees. sounds like a Subaru or a Mitsubishi. It's Simon driving his new car. It's a 2005 Impreza RS driveline, I believe, shoved in an old body. First time driving open all-wheel drive light. Simon and Kieran have new sponsors this weekend that gave them matching race suits that are really bright. Bright yellow, blue, and red, which they match their car.
They remind me of the suits from the 70s.
They look amazingly like leisure suits, but they match the car, and it looks great. Another car coming. Sounds like another Subaru to me. Push, Lance. Lance almost got stuck on the bank right off camera. Sounds like he's finding the conditions challenging. To hear another car immediately behind him. Yari. Yari is in a wheelchair and drives everything in that car with hand controls. And he can pedal that thing faster than anyone else. He's regularly faster than a good chunk of the field and appears to be possibly the fastest two-wheel drive car out here so far. We have, trying to think here what we have for other cars coming. We have a bunch more Subarus. We have the two Ford Focuses, Foci. Here another car coming. Sounds like another Subaru. Old Legacy, turbocharged. Another car coming. First-time competitor, long-time rally photographer. Driving, I believe the car's name is now Mr. Meow, which was formerly named Petunia, formerly named Steel Tulip. Actually, the first Subaru I ever helped build. That car started life as a 1.8 liter Impreza, then became a 2.5 liter, and then was had various owners and ended up in the hands of Jason and Jared, so that's their old car. Here another car coming. More bees. focuses. Oh, it's a Peugeot. Carlos and Ari. That Peugeot hasn't been here in a few years. It normally lives life down in Florida doing rally crosses. Faintly hear another car starting up the hill. Two cars I hear. Should be another one in short time here. Maybe it's just faraway echoes. Oh, the Acura that just passed had just gotten stuck. Or someone was just stuck down the street, down the road. There's someone moving very slowly, just off frame. Someone's definitely having some engine issues I can hear off in the woods. It might be the old Subaru, based off of some of the exhaust notes. So we've had about 20 minutes of cars, if my math is correct, driving past here. So we've got about another 10 minutes to go. And then we should have the last vehicle should be the exhibition vehicle, the side-by-side. The side-by-side competitors have actually done Baja. We were discussing tulips the other night and how much more nondescript they are in Baja. They typically say something like, turn left at the giant cactus, then drive 20 miles. So he's quite pleased to have something that actually gives him some more information. I hear another car coming. And honking at people. Looks like Brendan's having some problems. curious, have folks been having problems with the Ustream website crashing? I've had reports in the past of it being a problem. I'm curious if it's an issue today. Another driver coming. Oh, kissing the berm. Oops, and backfiring. Sounds like there's an unhealthy engine in the Talon. I believe that's a Talon. Or an old Eclipse. Some pretty bad missing. Backfiring on throttle. Hear another car starting up the hill. It's very quiet. Very, very quiet. Oh, here another car. The ground is starting to get graded, but it's getting chewed up so much that people that have low-slung cars is starting to leave flat marks, as you might be able to see. Might be tough to see from the video, but the kind of the lighter spot in the middle of the road is currently plowed flat. So there's so much debris being chewed up that rear bumpers and skid plates are starting to flatten the ground because the ruts are so deep. Another car coming. Star. Pushing on. Small exhaust leak.
That's too.
Another car coming. One of the focuses. In the right seat of that car is Dwayne Cromer, one of my crew guys who helped me out at West Virginia. Dwayne hasn't been in the right seat of a car for quite some time, so this is good for him to get back.
It takes a lot of momentum out of him up there.
I hear a car and it sounds like it might be stuck. Nope. Stand corrected. Sounds like the other Focus. No, it's the Mighty Max. Driven by Carl, the gentleman who normally sits in the right seat. I think this is Carl's first time driving the Mighty Max, at least for a whole rally. Again, the Mighty Max is another one of those vehicles that has a lot of history. For those of you who know Anders Green, that's Anders' old Mighty Max. I believe that car last year received its 4th logbook, as it filled up 3 full logbooks. I hear the Mighty Max struggling. I think the Mighty Max has all of about 70 horsepower. So every time you touch the brake, it really saps the power. I think we have a handful more cars coming, plus the special exhibition vehicle. We're still missing one more Focus. I'm still hearing 2-wheel drive cars struggling in the sand after us. Just a reminder for you folks who are still watching, our plan after this is to tear down after everyone goes through. And we're going to be running over to the sand trap spectator point. And we'll try to get set up there as soon as possible. We should have probably about 20 minutes before the competitors make it through. So you should be able to see more great action from Sandblast Rally. The sand trap hairpin is one of the more popular corners for spectating on the entire stage map. Historically, if the weather's been dry, it's just flinging sand. But considering it's been so wet, I fully expect there to be some mud leading up to it, which makes for the transition to the hairpin extremely dicey. It'll be a good spot for some spectating.